let me generalize it because I know listening to this is me some people who are in partnerships, professional service firms, agencies, etc., businesses, small businesses. I know there's a number of people who are also in not-for-profits. Okay, and I also know there's a number of people who'll be listening who are entrepreneurs, founders, mid-sized, traditional corporate structures as well. And so if you're in those latter two groups, I think that there's something to learn from the professional services world with respect to accountability, because when you've got partners, it's kind of hard for one partner to tell them, hey, by the way, you're not doing any good here. You're not, who's the boss of who? Your partners. So if you think about peer relationships, let's just say you're head of a functional area, finance or marketing communications, etc., and you've got to deal with peers. How do you make sure that those things, how do you provide feedback to those? So listen to that in that particular context as well. So I guess part of the question is this, when you're providing that feedback, when you're doing the accountability is it really needs to be based on whatever the shared objectives are or the personal objectives. So, on one hand, it's the question of if our objective here is to do X and we're not doing X, let's just talk about it. Part of it is a question of saying, well, if it's a project-based thing, okay, is there a feedback and accountability mechanism there? Sometimes it's an informal thing, but it needs to be, multi-layered when we're talking about when we actually have partners, because often partners cannot tell others, or peers cannot tell other people kind of what to do, right? But what you can do, okay, is you can talk about what the impact is, right, of whatever it happens to be. So I wouldn't call this the difficult conversation framework, but effectively, whether you're dealing with a peer, a partner, whether you're dealing with a subordinate, this is the kind of conversation. By the way, if people remember the good old days where the best practice was to use a SHIT sandwich approach to feedback and accountability, which is, oh, you're doing such a good job here. And then all of a sudden, but this we don't like, but you're doing such a good job here. And it sounds so disingenuous. It's almost like from a textbook from the 1950s. Today, I think it's much more clear. Presuming stuff is delegated or agreed to by the peer, or by the partner, etc. The framework would be a little bit more like, hey, this is what, hey, just want to talk to you about such and such. This is what happened. This is what was expected. This is what happened. I'm curious, well, why? And you find that out and you say, listen, because of that, this is the result. Then it's the question of, okay, well, how can it be prevented in the future? And there's a good conversation there. And if it's a subordinate, not a partner or a peer, the question is, well, if non-performance happens again, this is going to be the result. We're holding you account to it one way or the other. I think with respect to specific, if you've got a peer or a partner, you could do better by asking questions. Instead of something like, hey, you made such a mess of this, blah, 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 you screwed up, that's not productive. You don't have your finger on the pulse of the engagement and the client's upset. Not helpful, especially if it's a peer. How about any ideas why the client's upset? Have you thought about how to address this? Is there any way that I can help? Asking questions, is an awful lot easier. Another way to do it is to have what I called a wonder meeting. You want to provide feedback and you just ask questions. You say, I wonder, not questions, you say, I wonder if, and I wonder if such and such, I wonder if such and such, because you're asking a question that is supposing something. What's the worst they can say? Yeah, I wonder what would happen there as well. I wonder what happens there as well. I think also, if the behavior is and the lack of delivery, if you will, is continuous, then it's a question of saying, okay, maybe there's a problem with the person. Maybe that person shouldn't be in the role. Maybe it's the right person, wrong role, or wrong task, etc. Maybe it's the wrong person for the organization. maybe it's the right person for the organization, but maybe they need some training, right? Or maybe they need some coaching, right? And sometimes it's very hard to do that internally, okay? Because um, not everybody will open up or be willing to sort of take feedback from somebody within. So